Boom, live. How do everybody? If you don't catch this live, no worries. Or if you didn't catch this live, no worries. I'll make sure it's uploaded right away for you folks. Woo. Okay, so for those that don't know what Walking Dead Wednesday is, for a very long time now, Hamilfet, booyah! What's going on, brother? Glad that you got to jump in. I know I'm an hour early usually than when I do live streams, but I figured, hey, we switch it up. But back to what I was saying. For those that don't know, Walking Dead Wednesday. For as long as I've really been watching The Walking Dead, I've basically documented my whole thing because I caught up on the show and everything. When I got to the current seasons and everything, ever since I've been caught up with the show, I've always done recaps / breakdowns on Mondays. Last first half of the season, whatever. It just hit me the one day. Why don't we just do Walking Dead Wednesday? And that gives me more time to rewatch the episode, and catch certain things. So boom. Excuse me, what? So we're going to do that. We're going to talk a little bit about it. Honestly, there's going to be some spoilers. I'm not going to spoil the entire thing or all of the story that happened. This, I don't know. This one was a very story heavy episode, so it's kind of hard to spoil everything. There's certain things I'm going to mention, but I won't mention the context of the scene or anything like that. So if you folks out there watch it, then you can still enjoy it and everything, and it's not going to be well, I already know that's happening. You know what I mean? So boom. So yeah, let's get into it. Also, fucking glad to be back doing live stuff. I know it's only been less than a week, but still. The final life lessons was a heavy one. I'm not going to lie. Well, at least for me, because it was holy shit, something is officially ending. You know what I mean? So, oh, god damn it. Also, good folks. Hamilfet, we've missed you. Appreciate that, brother. I missed you too. Definitely going to be still doing weekly live streams and all that. So no worries about that. What was I going to say? Oh, also, $5 patrons. Infamous Second Son Part 2 is up right now for you folks. Comes out on YouTube Friday morning. Part 3 will be up for the patrons probably Friday afternoon. So boom skidoodles. Let's do this. We are going to start with Negan. It's very interesting. He has a very interesting story right now. A lot of people were pointing out how he was kind of resembling Rick's look, especially with what is most likely one of Rick's shirts, especially where we see him go after he leaves and everything. But yeah, I saw some people saying this was the shirt from the last episode. No, it wasn't. 100% wasn't. Rick still had that shirt. So that doesn't work. It was definitely one of Rick's shirts, and he definitely does resemble Rick's look. Also, interestingly enough, that he returns to his first appearance place, and we see him we can definitely kind of say he might have been sick from the water, but it might have been a mix of the emotions of everything as well, because he was told, there's nothing for him out there. And through this, kind of going from one jail cell, one prison to another, he realizes that out here he really doesn't have anything. While there may have been some people that were loyal and stuck around the sanctuary for a bit, it's pretty barren now. No one's around anymore. There was no food or anything. People had to move on. So he realizes that he has nothing, and it could have been through this he realizes can't even get clean water. But it also could have been a mix of the emotions of going back to that first appearance spot. I don't want to say specifically what it is, just in case some folks don't remember. But anyway, yeah. So yeah, he feels like a man with there's nothing for him out there. It basically a king that's fallen. He used to have a whole community behind him and had basically everything within his grasp. Also, keeping Richie around briefly kind of felt like a reflection of the governor with his daughter. I thought that was a really interesting kind of scene. But but he also understands that like he either has to move on, like, or this is the way that I interpreted the scene at first. At first, it felt like he had to like move on and make something new for himself, but then it kind of realized, like, it kind of felt more like this is when he realized that like he didn't really have anything out here. Like he doesn't have, basically he has an empty castle. The weapon that he's carrying isn't this big solid piece anymore. It's a metal like pipe kind of piece. So it's just everything's just basically empty for him. Everything's hollow. So I think all of that puts it into perspective, and then seeing the initials on the back of the compass, I think that puts it into perspective even more, because I feel like, in a way, like Judith's character, like whether she realizes it or not, she kind of looks up to Negan, and they've kind of developed a relationship with each other, especially like with all these little conversations that she's had. He's basically been like the uncle that's been in jail. But yeah, I think like seeing the initials on the compass and everything kind of puts everything into perspective for him. And it's like, well, all right, yeah, I got nothing here. I'm going to go back to what I had. At least I was getting fed and I had water there. But there's a lot of shit going on back where he used to be. We'll get into it a little bit though. So I don't know. I think he's either going to go back and just kind of like accept that, or he's going to make a run for it. Depends. We'll have to see. Also, I'm wondering if he will encounter the Whisperers like around this time. But we're gonna have to see. I don't know. I think it would be interesting if him and Judith kind of like experienced the Whisperers, and he had like a hero moment, and because we've always seen him in that villain light, and I don't know. I think it'd be really interesting to turn that, and you see Negan actually care for someone and like want to protect them. You know what I mean? I don't think we really did. They shot like a trailer for it, but I don't remember them doing it in the show, where Negan actually dives more into his past and everything. But in the comics, Negan had a wife and everything like that. Like he had a life. Well, he wasn't like, I don't know. I don't want to say it was a great life, but like he had something going for him in a way. He had a job, he had a wife, like, but a lot of shit went down towards the end. You know what I mean? Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see, because there is also a moment, like there's a story with Negan and the Whisperers in the comics, so we'll have to see if they interpret that into the show somehow. We'll have to see. Walking Dead is now, like turned into the like. How did I put it earlier? It was like, there's walking whisperers, but there's not whispering walkers. Because that also has to do with the titles of this episode. This is called Adaptation. The mid-season finale was called Evolution. It was really, really cool. Like, because Evolution is like what Eugene was talking about. I see Hamilfet's comment. Grab it in one sec. Eugene was talking about that. Walkers, like, evolving to now speak. But now we know, this episode, adaptation. These are just people who are like adapting to to this world and everything. So yeah, those are two different things. Excuse me. Hamilfet, I love Walking Dead, but after I heard that they were killing off Rick, I just haven't wanted to sit down and watch. Haven't seen this last season at all. A lot of people have said that, but honestly, like, I don't know. Think back on the show. We've had episodes that really weren't about Rick. We've had a lot of episodes that Rick was either a minimal character in it, or they just had nothing to do with Rick. It had to do with Daryl or the governor or Michonne or Carl on his own going through the town. Like, I don't know. Rick was the one that we started the journey with, so we felt more close and attached to him. But when you step back and look at it, the show has definitely been much more about like more than just Rick as the show's gone on. So like, I don't know, for me, the show's actually like, I don't want to say that it's better, but I don't know. I really enjoy it. I don't know how Andrew, it's weird because like the way that the show is now, I actually don't know how Rick would have fit in. Like, the way his story ended was really the perfect time for him, and it was kind of the perfect ending. And it's leading into future things as well, because like I don't want to spoil it, but like they killed him off. You know what I mean? They killed him off. So I was totally attached to Rick and Carl. I wish they never killed off Carl. That one was weird. Yeah. Even Chandler Riggs, the actor, like there was a weird situation with that. But at the same time, a lot of Carl's story from the comics are actually being like have been brought in for the character Henry, because him, Carol, and Ezekiel, they've all lost somebody and they all come together like as a family on their own now. And it's actually really interesting to see Henry in like with that story instead of Carl for some reason. I honestly, here's my thing, because I love the comics and I love the show, but I like how they're different stories. Because like if I'm just watching the show, excuse me, and it's everything that's happened in the comics, it kind of feels like there's no need for one or the other has to go if it's just the same. You know what I mean? I actually like, I don't know. When I look back on it and the way the stories have gone, yes, there's been some hiccups along the way, but all in all, this past season and even last season, I've really enjoyed it. But that's just me. But we continue, good folks, because there's so much more. And honestly, let me just say, Hamilfet, everyone else out there, if you haven't watched this season at all, I promise you, you are missing out on some awesome, awesome horror episodes. Because Angela Kang is like the showrunner now, and she worked on some of the show's like best episodes as well in like season 5, I believe in season 2 and stuff as well. Like, oh goodness, even like the mid-season finale, they shot it all in widescreen. They did it exactly like a horror movie, and like the way the whispers are all coming about is just, oh goodness, mwah. Fire emojis, as the kids say these days. But yeah, for the folks that don't know, the Whisperers are people who have like adapted, because like think back to season 1 when Rick and Glenn put all the like walker guts on themselves to like walk through the like herd on the street. Excuse me. That's basically what the Whisperers done, but like Leatherface. They skin the walkers and they'll wear their faces, and then they do these creepy growl whispers to like kind of blend in. It's really fucking crazy. And also, in this episode, because we'll move on to Daryl, we see Daryl again adapting to this new enemy, because they figured out, okay, if we do headshots, well then they're going to be dead. We're not going to figure out who's who, because now you don't know who's a walker and who's a whisperer. So he starts taking leg shots, hits a walker, they're not really going to notice. He hits a whisperer, that's still a person. You catch an arrow to the leg, ooh, you're going to be screaming. Hamilfet, you have intrigued me. I am glad, sir. I am very glad. Honestly, I like Rick's story ends off for the show really, really well. And like Andrew Lincoln's been there since the beginning. Also, there's going to be a movie trilogy with Rick Grimes. So like, oh, well, fuck it. Spoiled that, didn't I? Well, technically not. I won't go into details. Either way, Daryl, with him and Michonne, there's a very interesting thing, because after Rick's death situation, we see a 6-year time jump. With this episode, we see a moment with Daryl and Michonne. I'm getting dry mouth. With Daryl and Michonne, where she says thank you for everything with Rick, and then thank you for after. He puts his hand on her like shoulder, and I realized that her scar is where like the rod goes through Rick Grimes in one part, and where I think where he gets shot as well in like the first episode. But Daryl's is on his back, like upper back region. And Norman Reedus, I believe that Angela Kang also said that these scars for Michonne and Daryl, because they're the only ones with them, apparently they have a very dark backstory. Something happened with Daryl and Michonne. And No one knows what it is, like, at least for the viewers, you know what I mean? I hope we get to find out what this backstory is with the scars, because now I'm super interested. Like, one of the, like, where is it? Yeah, I was thinking, like, what, like, were they captured at some point, maybe by the Whisperers? But no, that didn't make sense. So I put that one out. Did they find where a past character, a past love of one another, perhaps? And through that mission, they got injured? Who knows? But I need to know why Daryl and Michonne got these X scars. Because no, we don't know. And I was wrong at first. And I'll admit that. So, and I'm wondering, like, did something else happen? Because I don't think that, I don't know. I don't see Daryl and Michonne getting together. Daryl loves Carol. We can't. Come on now. I just need Daryl to find love. But also through like the interrogation scene and everything with Lydia, Alpha's daughter, look, he was smart. He got both kids worked up because Henry is also in the other jail cell at Alexandria. Is it Alexandria? Yeah. Get them all confused now. Let me think. Hilltop. Yeah, okay. They were at Hilltop. My bad. Alexandria was where Rick and everybody was. The Kingdom is King Ezekiel and everyone. Hilltop is where Maggie was. Excuse-moi. Now, where Jesus lies and where Tara is and everything. So boom, figured it out. Okay, so Henry was in the other jail cell or whatever. Not going to spoil why. Through this interrogation with Lydia, the daughter of the like the leader of the Whisperers that they captured during this like bridge fight scene, basically, he gets them both worked up and then leaves. What do kids do, even at sleepovers, when you have to come up and go, hey, if I hear another Pete, like, there's gonna be trouble. You wait till you think the adult's gone, and then you start whispering to each other and you start talking again. So him sitting outside the window and whatever, he knew he was gonna get more information like that than he was going to trying to yell at Lydia and threaten her and use these tactics that they've used on everyone else throughout this journey. You know what I mean? Kids react differently than adults. Who knew? Dun, 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 dun. Oh, I like how also in the one scene, Henry is a reflection of Daryl. Like, neither of them really know where they fit in with these communities and like where this, like with this group right now. Henry coming from the Kingdom to the Hilltop to like apprentice and everything. It's a new area. It's a new place. He doesn't really know like where he fits in with everyone. Daryl being on his own for what I can imagine is this 6 years. He doesn't know like where he fits in with everybody right now. And it's a very interesting like reflection of each other. So I like that. Lydia, the tattooed lady. Not in this, but never mind. She's not gonna give up. She didn't want to give up the information who her mom really was. Like, of course you're not gonna tell an adult for some reason. I don't know. I think it's different for kids growing up in this type of setting. You're not gonna be like scared of threats. You're gonna be like, what? I've been getting threatened since I could fucking walk, man. Like, this ain't gonna work. I got a tickle in my throat. Probably should have grabbed water instead of chocolate milk, but what can you do? Anyway, the group still has, honestly, even from interrogating Lydia or like even hearing some information, this group, like Daryl and everybody, still have no idea who the Whisperers really are and like what they're capable of. And honestly, some have no clue at all. Like, any idea what the fuck's going on out there. Opie from Sons of Anarchy was cast as Beta. I'm very excited for that because Beta, for those that don't know, is one of the Whisperers. And he's basically this fucking, I don't want to say muscle dude, but he's fucking big. He is a ride or die Whisperer. Like, he keeps that mask on. He doesn't want nobody to know or anybody to know who like is under that mask, and he will cut your head off to keep it a secret. He knows that he could kill Alpha and take charge of the Whisperers, but he never does. He's just happy being like this enforcer that just fucking will kill for the Whisperers if he has to. And I'm super excited to see him and Daryl have their fight because that was in the trailer and I can't wait. Excuse me. On to Judith, since we're talking about kids. I love Judith. She is like the perfect mix of Carl and Rick. To be honest, I love how she has like the sheriff hat from Rick, then Carl, now to her. She has Rick's Colt Python, and then she has that little mini sword like Michonne. Like she's such a badass because she's been growing up with like basically like some of the most badass survivors that we like know from this show and everything. So she's used to this world and she's like adapted already to this world through birth. And it's just I don't know, she's so fucking cool. Like, Daryl used to call her little ass kicker when she was a baby. Makes sense now. Um, definitely seems like she understands this world as much as, yeah, okay. So she can understand this world as much as she can for her age because she's still a kid. Like, you know what I mean? As much as kids might differ, the way, like, even adults, like teenagers, everything, the way we think about things a lot of the time, the way we, like, have that curiosity or that wonder about things, it's there. You know what I mean? Okay. So, yeah, she can, like I touched on earlier, even though everyone else has this hate for Negan and knows him as this villain, for Judith, you know, she knows that he did something bad and everything, but like she has that soft spot for him. And she can't help that. He's been a role model in a way. He's helped with homework. They've had long conversations and everything like throughout her life now. So it's kind of crazy. Like she's a kid who has grown up in this world and she understands this world and she understands like she has to survive and like walkers, they're not your friends. You shoot them. Like that's it. You know what I mean? She still has these moments where she's still very much a kid. And it makes total sense that like, you know what I mean? Okay. The ending. One of my favorite scenes of the episode because it also mirrors one of my favorite like pictures from the comics. We are, in a way, officially introduced to Alpha. Oh, goodness. What is she going to do with Alden and Luke? Who knows? I have a very strong guess, though. Hamilfat, definitely hard to be a kid in that environment. Oh, definitely. And, oh, that's something I just thought of. Okay. So we've seen Henry, we've seen Judith. We've seen how these kids in these, like, you know, I don't want to say protected in communities, but communities that have kind of like established themselves. We're seeing how they've adapted. Now with Lydia, we're going to see how somebody who's worn the face of like literally the face of the dead and had to like go through the Whisperers, trust me, are fucking crazy. Like in the comics, they have a very, very brutal way of life. There's not like none of them have names. It's Alpha, like the one guy is Beta, and everyone else is just kind of there. And it's a very brutal and very crazy way of life. Lydia has seen a lot more and has definitely been through a lot more than these other kids have. So we're going to actually see both sides of the scale in a way of like someone coming from a group of survivors from this one type of community and then this group of survivors that went the opposite way and was like, well, we're going to walk with the dead now. It's going to be interesting. So anyway, Alpha has Alden and Luke. Nick, or was it Nick? No. Yeah, Alden and Luke. Interesting. Confused myself there. Anyway, one of the saviors that we had like met through last season. Yeah, I believe last season. Alpha basically traps them. And a lot of other Whisperers trap them too. This show mentions the fair. Like, at least this season and this episode definitely mentions the fair a lot. The fair is a very big event. There's going to be, as Daniel Day-Lewis's IMDb page says, there will be blood. There will be a lot of blood. Oh, goodness. The fair is going to be crazy. I can't wait. Also, yeah, with them having Alden and Luke, I wonder if this is going to be the real start of the battle with the Whisperers. Like this, they're going to kind of be one of the I don't want to go into details, but one of the victims of the fair, as we'll call it. So we'll see what happens. But as for Alpha coming up to them and fucking just pulling out the little shotgun on them, oh goodness, I'm not even gonna spoil the rest. But Hamilfat, I see you. Hamilfat, I feel this show is giving us insight on how things may go. The zombies may be our governments, and it shows how we interact and join forces. Basically, a total rebuild of civilization. Yeah, 100%. This show is definitely not like... it wasn't what I was expecting when I started watching it. I was like, cool, a zombie show, we get it. This is something totally different. And honestly, the way, like... It is crazy because there are going to be people who find something for themselves and they just, they make a way for themselves. But then there's going to be other people who want more territory, and we're going to go back to these tribal mindsets. And I've talked about it with this show. It shows us also that tribal mindset where it's like, we have to protect Alexandria. We have to protect the saviors. You know what I mean? And it's all for just shit that everyone could just share together and help each other live. It's interesting. I don't know. As civilized and sophisticated as we like to think we are, at the end of the day, we're all trying to be part of another tribe. Whether you're the fitness tribe or the vegan tribe or whatever, you know what I mean? We all have something that we end up fitting into. So, boom. Also, really, really cool detail I noticed in the episode. When the mask gets like thrown and like someone catches it, you hear it squish. So that shit is still wet inside. That's fucking gross. Jesus. Also, with Denai Guerrera, I am so sorry if I messed up her name. Okay, honest moment, I feel really bad when I fuck up actors' names or anybody's name, to be honest. Especially actors too, though. It's like they work really hard, and the least we could do is try and pronounce their name right. So I apologize if I butcher like her name or anything. But with Denai Guerrera, again, I apologize. I believe it's actually like this or season 10 might be her last season. So I'm wondering, is she gonna be a part of the fair? I hope not. But also, because I fucked up her name, I know some folks like to jump on that kind of stuff. Go back and like watch when like I first encountered Michonne. She's one of the most badass characters. I actually have 2 figures of her with her pets there. She's just But also, it's gonna suck. I don't know. If Michonne leaves the show, I want it to. I hope it's not because of the fair. I hope she gets to go off into the sunset on a nice, happy note. She deserves it. God damn it. Okay. That wraps it all up. A very all over the place recap of things. Excuse me. Also, I can't wait. There's so many interesting stories coming up. Honestly, with the Whisperers themselves, that story itself can it's so interesting if you really even just look up a Wikipedia thing that gives you a rough thing of who the Whisperers are. Good folks. I can't think of anything we've seen like them in any zombie movie or anything. I might be wrong about that, and if I am, please comment it below, because I would love to check out things that I haven't seen before. But yeah, it's one of those things wearing the skin of the dead and figuring out actually how to communicate with each other without alerting these walkers. That takes something else. And there's a lot of mystery about the walkers that I wonder if the show is going to touch on, because we don't actually know how they started. We don't know how many of them there are. There's a lot of shit we don't know about them. So yeah, I don't know. Excuse me. I wonder if the show will expand on them a little bit more. Excuse me, what? Or we won't. Either way, they're fucking interesting on their own, just without even like the backstory or anything. So yeah, if you're not watching this season, good folks, you have been missing out. And I've been saying that. Don't let the other people fool you. Rick Grimes may not be with us anymore, but the show is fucking solid. It is still so good. Oh my goodness, folks. Like, again, I don't want to say that it's gotten better without Rick Grimes, but it's become something else on its own. And I'm along for the ride. Season 10 was confirmed to be happening, so I'll see you folks there. Well, I'll also see you next week for the next breakdown and stuff. So boom. Okay. Oh, definitely gotta get a new chair. Hey, focus. Thank you. Okay. So this was the Walking Dead Wednesday recap / breakdown. Hamelfed, thanks for coming and hanging out, brother. I gotta get on out of here. But I appreciate you tuning in and coming to hang out with me and chatting The Walking Dead. Who knows? Like, I hope like I've intrigued you enough that you check it out, give it a shot, and also with anybody else out there, give it a shot. I know it feels like it was Rick Grimes' story, but he was one story among a big, like, puzzle. You know what I mean? He was one piece, always. Boom, to you, sir. Okay, mucho love you, hooligans. Again. $5 patrons. You got video to watch right now. There's going to be another one out this week. It's very exciting. Okay. Mucho love. All my quiet kids, freaks, and weirdos. For the love of everybody. Could you keep being weird for me? Appreciate it. Awkward outro. Hitting the button.